Looking forward to every single race today.
Well, of course, there's big news with Bingqiu in the very first race, Singapore's very own first gold medalist. You were the first because you won a bronze many years ago, but she won gold in Beijing and 2 golds in Rio as well, and that was in the backstroke. So do you think that someone like Yip is using this as a warm-up for the events coming up in the next couple of days?
Definitely. I think Bingqiu and I competed for many years in the same team. So it's pretty similar, you know, everybody wants to get the first race out of the way, and I think it will be the same for her, yeah.
Well, we have a 10-lane pool during this event. Again, as we mentioned, it is multi-classification, so there will be crossovers. And again, just to bring you up to speed on that, the lower the number, the more the disability. Is that correct?
Yeah. So the lower the number, the less function, basically. So as you see, S10, that's the highest physical classification. And then we go into the visual impairments, 11, 12, 13, and then you have the S14s, who are the swimmers with intellectual impairments. And in this race, you will see we have 2 S14s. But again, it is a multi-class race, and so all the different racers will be swimming together, and the one who touches first doesn't necessarily become the winner.
That's something that we'll be able to explain as we go on, because you will see a points countdown in each of the lanes as the athletes do go towards that finish line. We've got more gold medalists in this one as well. Look out in lane number 3 for Nifui from New Zealand. She won the 100-meter backstroke gold in Rio. Sri Lanka as well in lane 5, but we are keeping very much focused on the Singaporean swimmer Yip Bin Tui.
We have another Singaporean in lane 7, Jaslyn, who's an S14 swimmer.
Yep, that's right. She was in Abu Dhabi in the 2019 Special Olympics World Games, where she swam in the 50-meter breaststroke and the 100-meter freestyle.
Just Bingqiu's making her way to her lane from the side of the pool, while you can see most of the other swimmers prefer to start on top of the blocks.
She was, of course, the first para-athlete to be inducted into the Hall of Fame in Singapore as well. So all eyes will be on Yip in that lane number 1. Somaliakova in lane 0, as it were, hasn't come out. But the race is very much underway. And straight away it's Lily Manson that's just gone out in front. She's a Class S8 athlete. She's just competed as well in Madeira, which were, of course, the World Championships that had taken place over in Portugal. And again, it can be very deceiving initially, can't it, Teresa, when we watch this, where athletes are well ahead of each other. But this is the multi-classification that you talked about, where it all comes down to this point system.
Yeah, I think it can be a bit confusing for viewers, especially if it's the first time. You will see some swimmers clearly leading the races, but these are because of their functionality, so they are naturally going to be faster. You will see the higher classifications in front, but again, do not forget the ones at the back, the lower classification swimmers. They, as you see the countdown points, you will notice that their points are still one of the highest as they approach the wall.
Well, we just saw Marilis Galavan in 3rd place, and she's gone down to 5th because of the points classification and the way that the numbers work. But coming in there in lane number 2, from Japan. She's gone into 4th, but there's still time and still a chance for Yip Bin Tui. You can see by the points tally at the top, it's coming down. But if she can get before 7:16, she will win this. Yip Bin Tui. It's going to be a close one, isn't it? It's going to be very close, Teresa.
makes her way to the finish.
Well, we're almost there. It's the Sri Lankan Basnayake that's in charge at the moment. The 19-year-old looks as though she's going to miss out, though. It looks as though Yip is going to touch, and is she going to do it in time? Yes, she is, which means that she will win this first heat.
She will be first into the finals coming up this evening.
We're not surprised, though. I mean, we're talking about someone who knows how to get medals and knows how to swim at this level. She's
been in this for years and years. I think this is just I wouldn't say walk in the park, but this is all business for her.
Get the first one out of the way.
Exactly.
You mentioned to me earlier that was the one thing that you like to do. We actually had a little interesting conversation earlier about this being a warm-up for certain athletes and being a warm-up for the whole category of events that's going to come.
Yeah, I think it's pretty common, I think, for swimmers to have that first race, warm-up race out of the way. But I think if you look at how there are different disabilities, there are certain disabilities that get very easily tired, and so they may not like the warm-up swim.
So there's a confirmation. Smoliakova, as we mentioned, did not start, but it is Yip that does take the spoils and will go into the finals later with that seeding of first from heat number 1. That lane will be decided a little bit later as well, after we have the second and third heat.